Hello students, how are you all doing today? My name is Madison and I'm going to be your nutrition educator for today's nutrition lesson. Thank you for joining me for these lessons. We will have 5 installments of nutrition and agriculture lessons available to you. Over the course of these lessons, you're going to learn about the different food groups, how our food grows, different creatures that help us to grow our food, and talk a little bit about our own traditions because everybody has different foods they enjoy with their family and that have special meanings in their life. For a little bit of background about what nutrition and agriculture are, I'll give you a little explanation. Nutrition relates to the food we eat and all of the nutrients we put into our bodies. This ranges from just the food groups to talking about each of the small parts that every nutrient does for our body, and it gets more advanced as you get older in age. Agriculture talks about how our food grows, the people that grow our food, and then how that food gets to places where we are able to purchase it, such as straight from a farm, a farmer's market, or the grocery store, and even your school cafeteria. So for today's lesson, we are going to be talking about MyPlate, which is going to break apart all of the different food groups and the nutrients they give to our bodies. So before we begin, please think to yourself what your favorite fruit or vegetable is. Although we can't share in person what our favorite fruits and vegetables are, I would still love for you to think about this because over the course of the next 5 weeks, you're going to be learning about different fruits and vegetables that you maybe have never heard of before. And it's great to just think about what your favorite one is now, and then at the end, maybe it has changed. So like I said, my name is Madison, and my favorite fruit right now are bananas. So I'll give you a chance to think of yours. I have a cute little picture right there that kind of gives some examples in case you are drawing a blank. Great, let's move on. So like I said, our lesson for today is going to be about the MyPlate. Has anybody seen this before? Maybe you've seen it in your school cafeteria, on your milk carton, maybe in your dentist or doctor's office. Maybe you even have seen it in your homes. Well, this is a picture that was created by the government to help us learn and know what foods to eat for each meal of the day. So each of these different color sections are the different food groups. We have 5 different food groups that we want to eat for every meal of the day, or if that's not possible, at least once per day. And the MyPlate is just a simple picture that helps us to remember to eat these foods, and it also has all of these foods in different colors because it's very important to eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables and then grains, proteins, and dairies because different foods with different colors have different nutrients that our body needs. So the different food groups are fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. And you'll see here that fruits and vegetables take up half of our plate. That is because fruits and vegetables provide so many nutrients that our body needs that we want to make sure we include a lot of them in our diet every single day. Make sure that you at least get 1 fruit or vegetable once a day, and if you can, at least once per meal. And then the other side of our plate has our grains and proteins, and off to the side you'll see our dairy. Think to yourself, why might the dairy be off to the side? Yeah, it's because a lot of the times the dairy that we eat, especially in the lunchroom, is milk, which is actually something we drink, and it comes in a glass or a carton, and it's on the side of our tray. But don't be fooled, the dairy can also be somewhere on your plate because there are plenty of dairy products that are actually solids and not liquids that you drink. So next I'm going to show you some examples of all of the different food groups and foods that fall within them. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's 2 things that are not included on the MyPlate that are so important. The first one is water. It's really important that you drink lots of water every day because it actually helps all of the nutrients in the food we eat get delivered to the parts of our bodies where they're needed. So it's really important to remember to drink water every day. And the other thing is physical activity. It's really important that kids especially get 60 minutes of physical activity a day. This helps your body to stay healthy and active, and it also helps to deliver all of those nutrients throughout your body. So, what are some examples of the food groups? Well, we'll start over here with the dairy. Dairy is really important to include in our diets because it has calcium in it that helps our bones and teeth to grow big and strong. If you were to fall down and you are at risk of breaking a bone, if you have good dairy in your diet, you'll have lots of calcium, so your bones will be nice and strong. So some examples of what you can eat on a daily basis to get your dairy requirement is milk, yogurt, cheese, chocolate milk, string cheese, cottage cheese, smoothies, and pudding. So I know some of you out there might be lactose intolerant, or you don't eat dairy from animals for a number of reasons. And if this is the case, there are plenty of dairy products out there that don't have any lactose in them or come from animals. So you might want to include maybe oat milk, almond milk, soy milk, all of those types of things into your diet. And then if this is the case, you might just need to take a calcium supplement to make sure that you're getting enough calcium every day. So the majority of the dairy that we do eat does come from either cows or goats. Those are our main animals that we get milk from. But like I said, there's plenty of dairy that can come from other places as well. Moving on to the vegetables category. Vegetables are really important, and we want to make sure we eat a lot of different colors of them because different colors do different things for our body. For example, orange vegetables like carrots have lots of great nutrients in them that help our eyes to be able to see. And then dark vegetables, especially leafy green ones like spinach, help our blood so that our blood is nice and strong. So some other examples are broccoli, asparagus, bell peppers, carrots, avocados, corn, spinach, sweet potatoes, and tomatoes. Moving on to our fruits. Again, it's very important to make sure we get lots of different colors of fruits in our diet because different colors do different things for our bodies. Red fruits are really great for our heart. Blue fruits, like blueberries, are really great for our brain. And then watermelon has a super high water content, so it's really great to enjoy during the summer when you might be a little bit dehydrated. You get a lot of water from eating watermelon. So some other examples: strawberries, apples, bananas, blueberries, orange juice, watermelon, grapes, mango, and pears. And these are just a few of them. Maybe the one that you said at the beginning that was your favorite isn't even listed here because there are so many fruits and vegetables that exist and they all are so great for our bodies. Moving on to our grains category. It's really important that we eat grains every day because they give us awesome short-term energy. Well, what does that mean? That means that maybe it's lunchtime and you're going to go out for recess in the afternoon and you eat a sandwich that has bread for lunch. Well, that bread is going to give you lots of short-term energy so that when you're outside for recess, you can run and play and not get tired. So some examples of these are tortillas, cereal, rice, bread, pasta, popcorn, crackers, bagels, and oatmeal. And these can come from a variety of different places. They can come from wheat, they can come from corn, they can come from oats. There's many examples. And finally, moving on to our protein categories. Proteins are foods that help our muscles to grow really big and strong. I know you guys all want to make sure you grow big and strong one day, so it's really important that we include a lot of good proteins in our meals. Another important thing about proteins is that they can come from animal products, but they also can come from plant products. There are a number of people who are vegetarian or vegan, meaning they don't eat products that come from animals. So they want to make sure that they're getting a really good amount of protein in their diets that's coming from other sources. So some examples we have are eggs, which come from chickens, tuna, hamburgers, nuts. Nuts can include like peanuts, almonds, cashews, walnuts. We have chicken, tofu, which is a plant that is grown, beans, and beans you can eat by themselves. You also can turn them into dips like hummus, which is made from garbanzo beans or chickpeas, salmon, and pork chops. So you can see that there's a big variety in the different types of protein you can eat. They come from different animals and also different plant products. And these are just a few of them. There's plenty more. So I'm going to do a little activity with you guys, and feel free to pause the video whenever you need to think longer about what I'm asking. So I want us to take a moment to deconstruct your lunch, or your breakfast, or your dinner, whatever meal you've eaten most recently. So what did you have to eat today? Where does this food come from? And which food groups were represented in your meal? I know a lot of the time, especially at school, when we get our school lunch, we're just so excited to eat it and we don't really think about where that food is coming from. Well, this activity is going to give us an opportunity to slow down a bit and think about which food groups are in our meal and also where that food comes from. So let's use a cheeseburger as an example. This is something you might see on your cafeteria. Maybe it's something you eat at home. Maybe it's something you get from your favorite fast food restaurant. Anyway, these are our main parts of our cheeseburger. We have our bun, lettuce, tomato, cheese, the burger part, and the bottom bun. So let's take a moment, think to yourself if you know already which food groups are represented here and where these foods are coming from. So take a minute, pause the video, and think about it, and then jump right back in. Okay, great. Everybody had a chance to think about it. So guess which part of our cheeseburger comes from each picture. So let's start over here. We have this young child working in a garden. What do you think that they are growing? Which part of the cheeseburger would this be? Pause the video, think about it. Yes, this would be the lettuce. The lettuce is growing right here. And where is the lettuce growing? It is growing in the soil. So we have the lettuce, which is which food group? Yes, a vegetable. So we have the lettuce growing in the soil, and this is the vegetable. Okay, moving on to our next picture. Which part of our cheeseburger do you think would come from this picture? Exactly, this is the bun, and this would be a grain. And where do you think this grain, probably wheat, is growing? I think it's growing in the soil. Yes, correct. Okay, moving on to this picture of this cute little cow. This picture has two foods that come from it. What do you think one of the foods is? Yeah, the hamburger. The hamburger you would get from a cow, from a male cow. And the hamburger is which food group? Yes, it's a protein. And what does this cow eat? Anybody know what this cow eats? Yeah, it eats grass or clovers or maybe hay. And where does that ultimately come from? Yes, from the soil. Exactly. So then the next question, which other food for our cheeseburger comes from this cow? The cheese, exactly, because we milk female cows, dairy cows, and we're able to turn that milk into cheese. And again, this cow eats the grass, which grows in the soil, and cheese would be a dairy product. Great job. Okay, moving on to our last picture. We have something growing here. What is growing? Yeah, these would be tomatoes. And which food group are tomatoes from? This is kind of a trick question. Yeah, they can be from vegetables or fruits. Just kind of depends on how you look at it. Both of those are correct options. And then, where is the tomato growing? In the soil. Great. So, 2 questions from this little activity. Which food groups are represented when we're eating a cheeseburger? Think about that. Think which food groups are represented. Yes, all of the food groups are represented. We had the lettuce, which is a vegetable, the bun, which is a grain, the cheese, which is a dairy, the hamburger, which is a protein, and the tomatoes, which are a fruit or a vegetable. So that means that when we eat a cheeseburger, we're eating all 5 food groups. So on the previous page of examples, each of those foods was kind of by themselves, and on the MyPlate, it kind of seems like all of the food groups are by themselves. But you can eat one food item that includes all of the food groups. And an example of that would be a cheeseburger. Another example, maybe a taco, lasagna, a sandwich, pizza. All of those things could have multiple food groups represented. And then what was the other question that I was asking? Where do these things come from? So they all had something in common. Yes, all of these things ultimately came from the soil. So, next time you have something to eat, maybe your next snack, maybe dinner time, think about where your food is actually coming from. Somehow, it had to have been grown in the soil, and then it went from the soil to somewhere else, and for that time in between, what did it look like before it got to you? How did it change? These are things that I want you to think about moving forward over the next 5 lessons. Okay, our next activity, mostly for the older kids out there, but younger kids, if you have parents or older siblings around, you could ask them to help you. We're going to play a little Scattergories game. So Scattergories is when I'm going to give you a topic, and for this game, it's going to be the food groups, and you will have 1 minute for each topic to write down as many answers as you can think of. So I know we're not going to be able to score these together, but maybe if you have a few people at home, you can all play against each other, and then you can take turns scoring and see who gets the most points. That'd be whoever has the most answers that are just their own. So, everybody understand? We're going to move on to the next question. So we have proteins. So take a moment, take 1 minute, pause the video, and write down as many proteins as you can. Great, ready to go on? Now we have grains. Take a minute, pause the video, write down as many grains as you can. Fruits. Take a minute, pause the video. Vegetables. Again, take 1 minute and pause the video, write down as many as you can. And finally, our dairy category. Take a minute and pause the video and write down as many dairies as you can. Great, did you guys all like that activity? I think that's a fun one. So here's on to another activity. This is going to be our MyPlate matching game. So I have 5 pictures here. Take a minute and think about which picture corresponds to each food group. So we have fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. So try and match each picture to the food group that it belongs in. And if you can, label what that picture is, like which type of food, or what the food is called. Okay, let's move on to our answers. So this first one over here, we had dairy, and this was milk. This is probably our easy one because everybody knows dairy, milk go hand in hand. Up here we have a cucumber, which would be a vegetable. Great job. Here we have a few slices of bread, and breads would be grains. Down here we have grilled chicken. Grilled chicken is a protein. And then finally, our last one were cherries, and cherries are a fruit. Great job. So I have some other ideas of different activities that you can do at home. When eating meals or snacks today, group your foods into their food groups. Kind of play a game and try and figure out which food groups each food belongs in. And maybe you're eating something for dinner that goes into multiple food groups, for example, like macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese would be a grain because of the pasta, but also a dairy because of the cheese. So challenge yourself and think about it. Do it with your family members. Another one, try to help your parents or guardian plan the next meal with foods from all 5 food groups. This isn't always possible, but do your best and try and think creatively together about how you could get as much representation from all the food groups as you can at your next meal. And then finally, for a little bit of creativity, draw a picture of your favorite meal with foods from each food group. And this could be as creative as you want. You can have foods that are so wild that you don't get to have very often, but try and make it so that you have a food from each food group. Well, let's wrap up now because we're just about out of time. So the takeaways from the MyPlate lesson are we have the 5 food groups, which are fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. I want you to make sure you're diversifying your plate, meaning you're getting as many food groups as you can, but also as much color, because remember, different color foods have different nutrients for our bodies. Remember, you can eat the 5 foods separately from a food group, or you could eat one food that has all of the 5 groups in it, such as a hamburger, lasagna, tacos, pizza. And then finally, think about where your food is coming from. Remember in our Deconstruct Your Lunch activity, all of the food came from the soil? That's true for all of the food we eat. So think about it next time you're eating, how your food looked when it was growing in the soil compared to how it looks now. So thanks for watching, kids. Check back next time for a lesson about the 6 parts of the plant.